Well, it's 9 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. I'll do the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. Thing would be to approve the agenda. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Stand thing. Approve the previous minutes for board meeting September 28th.
So there
2021.
was one typo on the last page. I spelled Burns wrong in error, and that has been fixed. So just so everybody knows. Teresa caught that. Thank you.
It's being a clerk for township for 10 years.
So,
I read everything.
and we have a motion to approve that.
So moved.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second to approve the minutes of the board meeting from September 28th. Is there any discussion? If none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carries. Public comment. Don't look like we got much. Anybody on the screen?
I don't see anybody new on the screen.
I don't hear.
We have any appointments?
No.
None. Consent agenda. Anybody got anything they want to discuss there?
Yeah, I was just wanted to ask Tess on that Kelly Rowland. That's just a lateral transfer.
It is.
So that was to fill a vacancy, correct? Or-
Right.
Right, yep. So it was an internal lateral transfer.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So she's going like from child to adult.
Within the public health department.
Yep.
Nothing else jumps out, I guess.
Well, Eric and I met with Sheriff England and Tess about Mark Olson taking over the position of emergency manager and combining with PSAP.
Yep.
And actually it was what, like a 30,000 saving?
Right. And Mark's already up to speed on a lot of that stuff. So I think it'd be a good move. So
So we supported, I
Yep.
supported.
we supported it as,
And it's within the department. He's been doing a lot of this stuff, if I recall. Kind of,
yeah.
here they are. They can explain this. So
We already went through it, approved. Well, we haven't approved it officially
We
yet,
haven't approved it yet.
but did you want to say anything?
about Mark Olson.
We're on the consent agenda, yes.
And
You're in charge.
Eric and I supported it, speaking with you last week, so.
Yeah.
But we haven't voted yet officially, so if you want to
okay.
say anything, you
I
can.
apologize. I thought that was a little further down the list. I guess we met with the personnel committee last week. Went through it with those folks. Like I said, there's nothing else to add unless there's questions.
No, from what you explained it at the personnel committee, it was a good move, and I think it'll be a good fit to have Mark do that. And we'll let the unions battle their part out, so.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, it sounded like Rick was totally in favor of the movement, but Max is still questioning something, I don't know. But it doesn't have anything to do with our approval.
No,
No.
it's just that they'll have to iron that out amongst themselves.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's been doing some of this already, kind of helping out, hasn't he? So he's familiar with all the whatever needs to be done.
Yeah. Yeah, he's by far got the most experience with the radio system and dispatch and so forth.
And the emergency part is added on.
Yeah, it'll actually be a cost savings that way with combining the two.
Any more questions?
No, make a motion to approve the consent agenda as is.
I second it.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Mark, did you have a start date for him? Were you gonna wait till Monday? The pay period, or was it effective tomorrow?
It's effective tomorrow. I talked to Tess about that. She said
Okay.
she could make that effective tomorrow.
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Commissioners.
Thank you.
All these for holding me up there.
No, that's fine. We're just starting, so.
We're efficient today.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we'll move to action items, and we got 1 and 2. They're both talked to Amelia about some permits here. It's a Roughledge wanting to change the use of an existing building into a dwelling less than 40 acres in Spring Grove Township. And a young Ross down here by Hoka wants to build a accessory building in a residential area in Union Township. We could do them two together if we want to.
And they were both approved by the planning commission. I read through that. Okay, lovely. Was there any comments?
We did receive one public comment on Kerry Ruffridge's property. That one is a dwelling on less than 40 acres, but it's a little unique in that he has an existing pole shed that he'd like to turn into a house, I guess, with a studio apartment. And so he's looking to just add the septic and lots of that. I think we addressed a lot of their concerns at the hearing.
What was the concern?
They were worried about water, like runoff from the site. But he'll have to put in a full system, which has to be done by a licensed inspector
Mhm.
Or installer, and has to meet all the state specs.
Mhm.
And then the well too also has to be permitted. And so we felt that there would be no issue with that.
Well, the well doesn't have to be permitted by us. That's a state permit.
Yeah, the state.
Right.
But that's the
Well,
safety.
really take care of all that. The
Yep.
county doesn't get involved at all.
And that's taking, that's the safeguards to address those concerns. And
Yeah.
They're permitted things that,
I think the most of the concerns was just if he was going through the right channels. I think that's what the
Yeah.
one was. Her main concerns was he drilling a well? Was he doing it by illegally? Was he doing a septic? How much runoff is there gonna be? They were just trying to keep him honest to make sure he was doing it.
Mhm.
We explained everything to him and it was pretty good, I thought. Everybody was pretty happy when they left, so.
so it's making a kind of a living quarters within the pole shed. type
Yeah,
of
he
thing?
just wants to put a studio apartment basically in there, so it won't even be anything huge by any means, but just do half shop and then half living hall.
The planning commission has had no qualms with it and addressed the issues that were brought up. I move to approve the CUP for the Rutledge property.
I'll second that.
Been a motion and a second to approve the CUP for Kerry Rutledge. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed? Carries. Number 2, Josh Ross, building an accessory building in a residential district in Union Township.
This is because he's close to Holka.
This was, so he became residential because it was an old church, and in order to turn it into a dwelling, they had to rezone to put a second dwelling on the quarter.
Oh, this was that
Joe
over by
Witness.
Kniffs.
Joe
Yeah.
Witness.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And so because he's residential, then he can't put up a
Jehovah's Witness.
it's just under 2,600 square feet. In the residential district, you're limited to 1,500 square feet without a CUP.
Okay,
And so he doesn't meet all the setbacks for the residential district, and it'll just be larger than what you normally find there, but he is still surrounded by a district.
That's at the junction of 44 and County 20.
Correct.
yeah.
Was the old Joe Witness church at one time?
Okay.
Any more discussion?
I think it's just because of otherwise it was farm or ag district, it'd be no problem, so.
Yeah. The house would have been allowed at that point, but they're trying to use the existing structures.
Gotcha. I move to approve the CUP for the Ross deal at 44 and 20.
I'll second it.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the CUP for Josh Ross. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Thank you, mate.
Thanks, Commissioners.
Thank you.
You need them signed?
I will have to, I guess I was planning on having Bob do it next week, or are you able to sign things?
Whatever.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Yep, whatever works.
Amelia, I want to stop in afterwards, talk to you about that email.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll be here.
All right, now we'll go to item number 3. Consider approving a multi-county supplement nutrition assistant program, SNAP, employment and training agreement and authorized signatures. John.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
All right.
How you guys doing today?
Pretty good.
All right. This is a pretty standard action here. We've had this project with Wabasha County as our host for a number of years. Essentially what it does is it contracts with Workforce Development, WDI, our same vendor that does the employment and training services for our MFIP clients. This is a 4-county collaborative thing. The grant dollars from the state of Minnesota go to Wabasha County as the host, and then they contract with WDI to provide training and employment and training services for folks who are receiving supplemental nutrition assistance or SNAP food support. So it's a much smaller program than the employment and training that we do with WDI as well for our MFIP program. So nothing really new here. I just thought I'd, well, it needs county board support, but I thought I'd have it on the regular agenda to be able to highlight it for you.
Is this an annual thing then, John?
Yeah. Yep, a pretty standard thing. We've been doing this for a number of years with this group of counties, Goodhue, Mauer, ourselves, and then Wabasha is the host.
And the reason for training is because of changing rules and regulations on that or requirements?
No, this is, well, several years back, the rules around SNAP food support changed. For able-bodied adults, they would need to participate in employment and training services, much like they are required to do so with the MFIP cash program. And so in order to meet that requirement, these 4 counties came together. This predates, these counties coming together predates my arrival. So we've been doing this for a number of years. It's a, you know, counties across the state need to provide an option for folks receiving SNAP benefits to receive the employment and training services that are required by the program.
I'll make a motion to approve the multi-county SNAP program.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second made. Any more discussion on number 3, considering the multi-supplement agreement?
Commissioners, I note one other thing. I didn't note it, but there is no county dollars in this. This is grant funds that we are able to meet this obligation through our partnership with Wabasha. So I just thought I'd note too that there are no county dollars in this.
Good to know.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? Any questions for John?
John, is this through Wanda, through Workforce Development, or that Annette Shepherdson with the SNAP program, or both?
Both.
More discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye. Opposed? Carries. Thanks, John.
Thank you. You guys have a good day.
Have a better one.
All right, discussion items. Board updates, board chair. Well, I haven't got much. I went to that township annual meeting the other night, Thursday night. It was a very good meal, a good time. Sounds like we're gonna have some things coming down the road we're not gonna like is with these solar panels and these wind turbine wings. Can't
That
get rid
was
of
it. That was an interesting,
That was the best part of the whole meeting. I learned something. I mean, we can't get rid of it.
Who presented that? Was that part of the local or did they
That
have to bring
was-
a guy in?
that was the district township supervisor for the districts, was it 6 where you are?
Mhm.
Yep. And he mentioned that in Dodge County,
Mhm.
they put in a ordinance about you needed to have a $300,000 bond to put up a solar farm, because after 20 years, them panels are considered, wore out. And they're worried that
Who's gonna clean
who's
it?
who's gonna take care of all that? Somebody could just leave that there and then there they sit, so there's a hazard. It's a waste hazard. They have to take them and have them
Well,
taken care of. I don't know, they're not recycled, I don't think, but just got to be disposed of. I know. And then he mentioned the wing blades from the turbines, wind turbines, they're burying them out somewhere in the
Yeah.
desert.
On the Dakota, some damn place, wasn't it? They were
Yeah,
burying them?
yeah.
I mean, how many of them can we bury in the ground? Groundwater.
Well, they're huge too, yeah.
I mean, that's not a good thing.
so this person had experience out there in Dodge County and warning or preparing us.
Yep, yep.
Preparing us, gonna give us an idea of what's going on. And what we're gonna have to start looking to do, what we're gonna do with them, because I'm sure within the next 5 years, we're gonna have some of them coming because it's been out there a while already. These
Yeah.
panels have been around for probably 5-10 years already.
There's a lot of bigger ones out in other parts of the
Yeah.
state. We haven't seen too many big
No.
ones yet, but
We have
There's a
one
big one in Winona County.
just up on North Ridge. I was just gonna comment, there's
Yeah.
one close to us.
yeah.
But it's in Winona County and I can't visualize how many acres it was because it's around the corner. But it's a good size one.
Huge, yes.
It's nothing like up around St. Cloud. When I passed there, they would, I'd say it was probably 40 acres.
Oh, really?
It was huge. I mean, I looked and I couldn't see the end of it
Mm-hmm.
from I-94. And I thought, oh,
Well, in 20 years, they're gonna have to be dealt with,
Yeah, hopefully they'll come up with some place we can get rid of them in the meantime.
Yeah, a lot of times they change hands, change ownership.
oh, by all means.
So, the last owner might just, foreclose or whatever, just let it go and there it sits, so.
All right, that's good information.
Guess that's about all I got, I guess. Else, commission reports, who wants to start? Teresa?
Well, I went to that township annual
Yeah.
meeting too. I always really appreciate, this one was not just a banquet, it was a business meeting in the absence from last March. So I thought it was very interesting. Our department heads made very good presentations. Thank you, Donna. You did a good job.
Yeah, Donna was there and,
Bob did a good job with the county report.
yep.
So
And
was Sam.
had the longest one.
And actually, Donna read the one from Brian because he was.
Right. Donna had a
And
dual role.
I
doing
do have a
Brian's.
copy of it in case you want to hear all his projects. But it was good. I thought it was a very good meeting, moved right along, and the food was delicious.
Food was excellent.
And Greg Davis had the shortest speech I ever seen.
Yeah, me too. I told him that too. He always gives me a hard time because when I was clerk of the association, I put in the minutes of the meeting that he spoke at length. He didn't really appreciate that line.
Well, Eric, you're next.
Well, I also attended that meeting. I thought it was very good. Good presentations by all the department heads that were there and some interesting, it's good to see everybody again. And I didn't have much else going on. Tomorrow we have our EDA meeting out at Centec there for the groundbreaking ceremony of the broadband deal that Centec is doing, and got a loan from EDA for that. So
That sounds good.
Yep.
Moving forward, huh?
Right.
That's 8:30. That's been set up for now.
In
Our meeting
Houston.
is at 8:30, yes. The groundbreaking will depend on where the equipment is if we get there.
Okay. They won't start without us.
No,
Other than that, I don't have a whole lot of anything else. So
We
we had a
had-
personnel meeting last week
Yeah,
about the
and that was mainly
situation.
about our emergency manager
Right,
position.
yep.
And we had GIS. We haven't got the information back yet,
Mhm.
but summary of it.
Okay.
Yep.
Just trying to get the departments to work together a little better and who does what.
And we're trying to figure out workflow and who gets what at what time.
Mhm.
Coordinating things as far as
Yeah,
A, B, C, D, not A to C to D to O.
right.
Um,
That's it for me.
Not much going on up in the Crescent there. They're still talking about Walnut Street, which is gonna be one of their big projects, and working on the bike bridge thing, but that's was reported last week. Before you go today, Teresa, I'd like to get Winlac next week. I'm covering the meeting for you.
Monday.
If there's something I need to kind of review beforehand.
No. It'll be a summary of the public hearing, comments that they received and things like that.
So just pipe in at 9 o'clock on Monday.
Zoom or in person. You can go up to Winona if you want, but it's easier on Zoom for us.
That's about all I have. Pretty quiet.
Did we want to have a discussion with Tess about our workshop meeting? Tess, do you want to bring something for workshop next week?
It's workshop next week?
No,
I
2
was
weeks.
just
Oh,
gonna
sorry,
say-
2 weeks, sorry.
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks, yeah.
Next week's regular meeting.
I just wanted to let the commissioners know that we have been proceeding with the search for a director for environmental services. We have 3 candidates we'd like to invite for interview during your work session. It'll take about an hour for each candidate. And just wanted to get that on your calendar and to get
So we'll have the
consensus to move forward, if you will.
you want to do the interviews at the workshop? Is that what you're saying?
I think
Mhm.
the board,
Okay.
the board had mentioned, if I'm understanding correctly,
Yep.
Yeah,
that you would like to, the full board would like to be directly involved with the interviews. So
yes.
we can do that. We'll need about 10 to 15 minutes between candidates. That gives you a little time in case there's extra follow-up or anything with any one candidate. Putting the questions together, each commissioner would have 2 questions, so it'd be a couple of times around robin, if you will. It'll be a scored interview. So the questions, you'll have them in front of you. And then you can write your comments as well as place a score down. And then
And then the
We'll get
action
back
item
to-
will be the following week on the
and
results.
I will bring the matter back with the final, the results of the interview. I will bring to the personnel committee and then we'll bring it to the full board.
That's fine.
That seems like a reasonable course of action.
Yep.
So it'll be a little bit of a longer meeting possibly for you at the work session, about 3.5.
Well, it'll work out because we don't have to have our discussion on the ARPA funds. The deadline's been pushed back for that, so.
So I'll make those invitations for interview today. I needed to get some kind of general consensus from the committee, but that date and time. Get those invitations out.
All right, for everybody.
Yep.
Yep.
That's all I have.
All right.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Chestnut, we don't have any negotiations today. It's tomorrow at 10, right?
Calendar.
For Ask Me. Okay,
There's nothing on my calendar for negotiations today.
sounds good.
I
Mine either.
sent you, updated the grid that I sent as far as for the calendar for negotiations.
I'll have to look that up.
And that also has the meeting with MAPE on there. It has all of the personnel committees meetings on there with the
Okay.
unions. And that includes the meeting with Nate regarding the outstanding settlement, re-arbitration.
All right,
Thank
thank you.
Thank you, Chess.
Have a great day.
Better done.
Any closing for public comment? Anybody in public comment? Quiet.
That's
Oh,
the
Greg, you
shortest
wanna-
meeting ever.
You run a good meeting, Greg.
Next one is, who wants to make the motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Motion in the second to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye. Anybody opposed? We're done. Thank you.